Well, March Madness tips off this week. The announcement that all of the men's NCAA tournament games would be played in Indiana did not come until earlier this year, but it all started 6 years ago with a bid to host the 2021 Final Four. I found out how it all came together and how Hoosiers will now benefit. Anticipations of a strong March bring hope for an even stronger future for Hoosiers. The Circle City has gone from silent streets to a bustling downtown atmosphere with the excitement of March Madness. Indianapolis is no stranger to hosting these big events with a resume that includes a Super Bowl and 7 Final Fours.
We have hosted more than 450 international and national events, including this will be our 8th Final Four. So we have a community that's ready and a community that's ready to take on this big challenge.
Brett Kramer with Indiana Sports Corp is part of the team that organized the plan for Indiana as the host city for the entire 2021 NCAA men's basketball tournament. She says Indiana was ready for the challenge.
We were built for this. The proximity of our venues to our hotels, to our convention center, to our wonderful volunteers. We truly have a tribe of Hoosiers that what they want to do is make Indy shine, and the best way to do it is through these events.
The tournament's road to Indiana began back in November of 2014 when Indianapolis landed the bid for the 2021 Final Four. By September of 2019, the planning began. Then in March of 2020, the NCAA canceled its annual tournament for the first time. Keeping an eye on an uncertain future, Indianapolis began to pivot to keep teams and fans safe in 2021. Then, in November of last year, host officials learned Indiana had the opportunity to host the entire tournament, not just the Final Four. Organizers worked with hotels and venues to ramp up their plans.
We're really taking that initial bid. We're reworking it a little bit to make it work for 67 games instead of 3 games, but really it just comes from a community collaboration why it's coming.
The unprecedented setup is made possible by strong partnerships between organizations and venues across the state. And a year after leagues canceled games and venues shut their doors, Hoosiers are back at work.
The tourism world is one of the hardest hit industries right now by the COVID-19 pandemic, and so we are most excited to get people back downtown, but also to get the city back working. It's amazing that this will fuel so many more jobs, bring employees back to the hotels and the restaurants and the venues.
Hoosier hospitality is what makes tourism in Indiana. Nate Swick with Visit Indy hopes the tournament will fill local restaurants, hotels, and bars with visitors and money.
We're certain that it'll have a massive economic impact on the city. I mean, it's going to be a 9-figure economic impact.
And set a precedent of what Indy can do when it comes to more highly anticipated events during and one day post-pandemic.
It shows how Indy can continue to host events during, the pandemic is not over, and we know that. And so I think it's kind of making sure that we can do this safely, and then how can we do it again after this? So the Indy 500, where will we be with the Indy 500? I think we'll take a lot of what we learned through this process and use it for future events as well.
And officials are getting creative to offer pandemic-safe events for March Madness visitors and fans, like basketball history tours of Indianapolis. For more information, go to the WRTV app.